New book, The Next Conversation. Argue less and talk more. And this is actually on his bio, just one sentence. He helps people how to argue less so that they can talk more and have genuine conversations. Now, as normal, I downloaded the first chapter, a sample, on Kindle, and I was absolutely hooked by his entertaining and personal way of relating his stories. He's the eldest of 4 siblings, I think it is, and I really wish he was my big brother. My life would be so different. But anyway, so make your next conversation the one that changes everything. I've watched several of his short videos. He does a lot of shorts. There are some longer videos on his podcast which I've got downloaded on my list, ready to watch. And I just really like his down-to-earth way of explaining things. And a lot of what he says, I know it's true. And communication is a big deal. As on the background, they didn't really know how to communicate properly. We would either talk loudly and talk over each other, or we would argue, or we would be sarcastic. You know, we were all dealing with different levels of personal trauma, and none of us really knew very good communication styles. I am so excited to read this about different issues with such kindness and tact. He basically is a good storyteller. It just draws you in. I would love to be able to do that. Why your conversations need values. I think we don't often think about that. Our conversations, especially with my neurodivergent brain, I sometimes just blurt out stuff that I don't intend to blurt out. And then I'm like, where did that come from? If we're feeling triggered and we try to communicate something to someone, they might be picking up on our vibes, which might trigger them. And then you're having 2 completely different conversations because you're both relying on your own assumptions in your own head, which does not make for good connection or communication, and it usually ends up in dysfunction. Got lots of short tips, practical suggestions on how to deal with conversations.